teach it brains reset. You listening to precept on precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line, the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it brains reset. Putting in the work for the most high. Valley of the bones coming back and we gon' ride. Showing you our past didn't start with that boat ride. We a nation made of kings, yeah we chose right. Bringing our identity back. We the praise of the Lord, they pretend to be that. Judah is something special, they could never be that. We raise the vengeance with the knowledge so our enemies crack. In fact, listen to the class in the topic. Bomb subject matter, breakdowns atomic. Gathering the people, the whole duty of prophets. Precepts start flowing.
Israel united in Christ. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a non-violent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Hey, welcome to another edition of Precept Upon Precept on Thursday at 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern Time. Real quick, before we start the show, if you haven't already, go to IUIC New Orleans YouTube page, subscribe, like our videos, share, bell notifications. We are your hosts. I'm Captain Shem, and to the men to the left,
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
So all praise the Lord. Let's go ahead and, if we can, post the meme of tonight's show. I want brothers and sisters in the audience to look at a great man that is not known about, even in the black community, which is pretty remarkable, given the amazing acts that the brother did. So let's take a look at him real quick. What Caucasians do whenever they want to discredit a black man is what they will do is give honor to his mother and act like his father didn't exist, or make up some cockamamie story such as his father was a slave master. So when you look at this brother, this is actually Robert Smalls. I think it's called digitally remastered. I'm putting the vibration. That's his father was black. I don't care if he was light skinned or not. His father was black, and we're gonna give credit until it can be proven. Anyways, so with that, all praise the Lord. Pull up Wikipedia real quick. Robert Smalls. Last week we went into his early life about the amazing act that he did. We're gonna just touch very briefly on his early life, catch you up to speed, and then go into things of his mid and later life, which is actually very, very impressive. So let's review about Robert Smalls' early life. We're just going to kind of read through to catch everybody up. And y'all at home, learn about this brother, all right? Let's go ahead and start with early life, please.
Robert Smalls was born in 1839 to Linda Polite, a woman enslaved by Henry McKee.
Right, damn. We both need new glasses. It's Lydia. I thought I saw Linda too. Wow. Okay, read on.
She gave birth to him in a cabin behind McKee's house at 511 Prince Street in Beaufort, South Carolina. He grew up in the city under the influence of
Low Country Gullah
culture of his mother.
So the Gullah is click the Gullah real quick, because you hear Gullah and you hear Geechee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's a brother named Kwame Brown. Lord, will you wake up, Kwame Brown? I think he Israel. He talks out against all the men that throw him under the bus, like Gilbert Arenas, Stephen A. Smith, all these guys. Anyways, so the Gullah is, I'm going to read it real quick. Gullah are African Americans who live in the low country region of the U.S. states of Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, and both coastal plain and sea islands. Have developed a Creole language, also called Gullah. So basically, this is, Levi got their Creole. Judah got a Creole too. It was a way that they spoke. These were black Americans. They had their own dialect of English called Gullah. So, and Robert Smalls knew that Creole tongue, and that helped him later on in life. So, those of you who didn't know that, there's also the Geechee. Officer Matt, you said you know about the Geechee. Do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, my grandfather on my father's side married a Geechee woman. So that is in my family. And you're right, Cap. They do have their own separate language, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And they was living on this island off the coast of the Carolinas for a while.
Mm.
And until Esau found out about them. But yeah, that stuff is very interesting. It's very interesting.
All praises. Yes, sir. Mickey, go ahead, brother.
No, I was just going. Esau knows that about the Gullah, and you mentioned that island. Remember, they had a Disney show called Gullah Island.
Yeah.
Where they were making mockery of it. But the Gullah is like you said, it was Judah. A lot of times it was Judah and Gad mixed, and the Geechee was more of Levi and Gad mixed.
Mm. All praises, all praises. And that Creole tongue, that Gullah tongue, is a way that you can disguise and use as a code amongst your enemies. It was a lot of it was strategic. Okay, it was like, man, we can't stand being under the oppression. We're gonna use the language we're learning, but we're gonna, and they did it. It was instinctively. It was strategic. So we're gonna read on about early life of Robert Smalls, and we're gonna move on out. Let's do when he was 12. We could just.
Okay.
No, you're right. No, you're right. Do his mother. You're right.
His mother lived as a servant in the house, but grew up in the fields. Robert was favored over other enslaved people. So his mother worried that he might grow up not understanding the plight of enslaved field workers.
Right. So the narrative is his father must have been a slave master. Therefore, as a result of that, well, I don't subscribe to that. We don't subscribe to that. But let's just say, for example, there were other slaves that their father was the master. They didn't give a crap about them caramel-looking kids. It sold their ass too. Like Stokely Carmichael, the nobleman Stokely Carmichael said, how can you expect compassion from a compassionless people? They don't have that. I'm probably butch. He said something a little bit. What did he say, Stokely? What did he say? Pull that up.
That Martin Luther King made a fallacious assumption.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that, what he said.
I'm going to get it.
He said that the nonviolent philosophy was geared so your enemy is moved with compassion towards you. He made one fallacious assumption. Damn.
I'm going to get it. Watch it. So, all right. So, Stokely Carmichael.
He said, for that to work, your enemy must have a conscience. The United States has none.
Right, exactly. And Stokely Carmichael was not referring to the Gadites or black Americans. When he said this country, he's talking about this country which was made for Caucasians, as we all know. So we're going to read on in his life.
Also, Cap.
Yes,
by
sir.
the way, Nat Turner grew up in a house. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So if they're trying to use that to say, oh, well, his father might have been a slave master because he was favored among other. So,
Right.
I mean, he's not the only one that happened to, that,
Right.
Esau saw some sort of favor in him and treated him better than the rest.
Right. I already know where Mikhail's mind's going. I already
Denmark
see it.
Vesey as well.
Yep. Denmark Vesey. And guess who else? The slave called Daniel. Get me the book of Daniel. Daniel, found favor in the damn jail, amongst the brothers. So there's a spirit that Robert Smalls had, Denmark Vesey, like you said, not turn off some Matt. These brothers had something special about them. And it would invoke in the masters, the slave masters, a certain amount of compassion. And it just came to me. It's Daniel. He found favor with the guards. I think it's Daniel
Joseph?
2. Joseph, no, Daniel found favor as well.
Yeah, he was part of the children
Right. So
in Daniel 1.
yeah, look at Daniel 1. I want to see that. It just came to me real quick because the they'll say that. I gotta let me look at it real quick. Daniel.
Yes, sir. Daniel 1, and we'll start at 4.
Let me see.
Children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, skillful in all wisdom and cunning and knowledge, understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat.
Right. Hang on. It's coming down. Let's see. And these for church, God give them knowledge, and the king continued, and the king commune with them. Damn. Yeah, Joseph is probably a better example that could be used. But the point is that there were examples in the Bible of our forefathers in oppression, like these brothers, that found favor.
I got verse 9.
You got me?
Verse 9, yep. It says, and now God had brought Daniel into favor
Yes.
and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs.
The prince of the eunuchs was a slave master. So we found favor, Daniel as a slave. With the slave, don't let the prince of the eunuchs make you feel like it's somebody important. Okay, they didn't want to be there. They were forced to be there. So we have that. And also, like Officer Matt, Joseph was the same thing. He found favor, all right, in all parts of where he went, all right. Let's finish that up early life because I want to move on. Y'all, we're talking about Robert Smalls. Robert Smalls, come on.
Okay. Robert was favorited over other enslaved people, so his mother worried that he would grow up not understanding the plight of enslaved field workers.
That's why some of you brothers that you grow up in the damn country in the suburbs, some of you need to spend some damn time in the damn ghetto. You need to spend some time in there. I remember the first time that I grew up in an area where it wasn't so bad, but then my brother's in the project, so I had to visit him in the project and walk into these neighborhoods and walk in the buildings and see what was going on. And it had a profound effect on my life regularly, and I saw it multiple times. And I had to see what my brother walked through. And it gave me a very special connection and understanding just how great people can become coming out of such a very low estate. And I saw it with my own eyes. And it left a lasting impact. So nobody could say anything to me about people that grew up in a project. You can't say nothing to me about them. Because the best men I ever met in my life came out of them projects.
Yep.
So I don't give a damn what nobody say. And you know what? And there's a bunch of damn evil, wicked people that come out of projects too. But my point is, you don't sit there and just, a lot of black people do this too. They grow up with a nice house, nice thing, and they think that they're, no, you're not. Because you don't even understand struggle. A lot of these black folks today that have gone to college and never really struggled, they don't understand struggle. And we're going to read about a brother that understood struggle. Robert Smalls understood struggle. Let's move on. I want to do third show, but we got other things to do. Wikipedia, we're going to read on with that.
And asked for him to be made to work in the fields and to witness whipping.
So moms, you work in the house, I want you to see when they whip your brothers. You need to see. She didn't try to shield them from that. Read on.
When he was 12, at the request of his mother, Small's master sent him to Charleston to hire out as a laborer for $1 a week.
To be clear, the money he got, the vast majority he was forced to send to his white slave master. The way they write it, his mom had any power. His mom had no power at that time. Read on.
It says, as a laborer for $1 a week, with the rest of the wage being paid to his master.
Then what? And this brother was a businessman. Read on.
The youth first worked in a hotel, then became a lamplighter on Charleston streets.
Because back in the day, before electricity, they used to have to literally light the lamps on the streets. Before every dusk to dawn, there was men their jobs, and many times it was our brothers that would light all the lamps until the modern electric lamps became prevalent. All right? Read on.
In his teen years, his love for the sea led him to find work on Charleston's docks and wares. Smalls worked as a longshoreman, a rigger, and a sail maker, and eventually worked his way up to become a wheelman.
Now, what Robert ended up doing is you're going to find out that actually it goes on. Read on. I'm sorry.
More or less a helmsman. Those slaves were not permitted that title. As a result, he was very knowledgeable about Charleston Harbor.
This is pivotal because later on, he goes on to do something. This is, you know what's amazing? Is that Robert Smalls, what he's done, in my opinion, is the most heroic, impressive act, at least top 5 in all the things that black Americans have done. There should be, and I got an article later on, where in 2017, they're still trying to get his statue in the South Carolina State House. And they're still having to fight for that. This dude did the most powerful thing in the history of South Carolina, white or black. And it's amazing. But it should be taught in every history book. Every black kid in America should have heard about Robert Smalls. And it's amazing. We got to learn as adults about him. Read on.
At age 17, Smalls married Hannah Jones, an enslaved hotel maid in Charleston on December 24th, 1856.
Right. Hebrews 13, verse 4. They understood marriage back then. They was enslaved as late teenagers, and they still got married because why? They understood that when you lay with a woman, you got to take care of her. That's your wife. All right? We had, even as slaves, we had morals. Today, the black woman and the black man and black woman today have no morals and values at all. Okay? We was on the street teaching last week, and it was a rarity. A black couple came up holding hands. I said, "You married?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "All praises, thank the Lord." It's very rare you see that. Very rare. Okay? But in IUIC, what you're going to find is this. Single brothers that's being guarded and making sure they do the right thing, and single women as well, and men with their wives. That's what you're going to find here. Throughout all of our congregation, anything else, you aren't going to be around us too much longer. The Lord going to weed you out. Read on.
She was 5 years his senior, and already had 2 daughters.
Right.
Their first child, Elizabeth Lydia Smalls, was born in February 1858.
Check this next part out.
3 years later, they had a son, Robert Jr., who later died at age 2.
So they had a son, Robert Jr. died.
Robert aimed to pay for their freedom by purchasing them outright.
So let me stop real quick. So the way that Robert did this is he had an entrepreneur mind. When he was on the docks, he was actually learning as a rigger, as a longshoreman, as a dock worker, but he was also going, and with the little money he had, he would go and buy candies and different things, tobacco, and he would sell it to the dock workers because his goal was to buy his wife's freedom. That's what he was doing. At a young man age, he said, listen, because he could not stand slavery. One thing you're going to find is that the 12 tribes of Israel, the Lord raised up certain men that could not stand slavery. They hated it. And you're dealing with a brother, Nat Turner, a Tucson Overture, and many other brothers that stood up against oppression. Okay, we did a whole series on Reconstruction. There were more black political officials at the federal, state, and local level during the Reconstruction time than any time in so-called American modern history. We were doing a lot, and that's why they had to bring in the Ku Klux Klan at mass numbers. That's why I had to bring in the black codes, because we was rising and rising quick. And it scared the hell out of them.
Hey, Cap, just to give people an idea, $1 a week, that's the equivalent to $36 today. That $1 is equivalent to $36. So imagine today, all you make is $36 a week, but it takes $23,000 for you to buy your freedom. That's what Robert Smalls was working with.
And remember, Bishop Nathaniel taught a class years ago on the ways of meritorious manumissions. 5 ways you can get your freedom. Save a master's life. Protect his property. One was you could protect his property. I'm not going to get all 5 of them. Protect his property, save a master's life. Come up with an invention that made your master money. You could buy your freedom. And there was one more.
Rat out another slave that ran away.
Right out. So he realized You had to be smart. Not every slave knew about mandatory manumissions. He had his ears. He was always trying to figure out, well, what do I do? So this innate drive in this brother who hated oppression, whose mother and his mother did the right thing. She said, no, I ain't going to shield you. We may work in the house. You going to come out with me. When they whip your brothers, you going to watch it. Because that's what a lot of black people do today is this is what they do. When slavery come up, that was back then. No, you have to, we all have wounds that are closed. And this is how you know. If you watch the movie Roots and you did not cry and you did not get angry, you are in denial. You are in denial. When you watch Django, when you watch Roots, Mandingo, you should be, I swear at the damn TV, I get very upset because I say to myself, well, damn, what if that was me and Officer Matt, me and Officer Mikael right there together? What if that was me and my wife? That was me and my wife 100 years, 200 years ago. That was us. And it's supposed to be personal. That's why when you teach the Bible, you have to make it personable. Some of you brothers teach like you're not connected to it. That's why they want to tear down the statues, because the statues, like you said last week, Officer Matt, I could bring my girl to the park, my kids, and say, there go the devil right there.
Yep.
And don't let them do that. Keep that alive. Keep this anger you have alive in a creative, constructive way. All right? Robert was angry as hell to the point where he had such a valorous spirit on him. He was either going to ride or die. All right? So now, we're leading up to the point where he realized, damn, if, like you said, Officer Matt, well, I make $36 a week in equivalent today. Well, by the time I get the money to pay for my family, I'm like going to be 50 years old.
Yep.
He said, you know what? But I think I know another way. And that's where he began to learn, and he earned the trust of these people. Steps and steps and steps. Then he realized he knew the Civil War was about to come. And he understood there was tensions between the North and South. You want to know why? Because he knew about the history of Abe Lincoln. And he knew it. One of the first things he does when he crossed the friggin' battleship, he says, I have a present for Uncle Abe. He already knew the politics of the war. So he got in a position, which you're going to find out next, and he was able to steal a damn warship, a damn, not the North, the South, it's Confederate warship. Let's read on.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
To imagine, like we was bringing out last week, he learned to trade to help his people.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that he was listening to while he was on the dock? He was listening to Esau complain and moan about the North, complain about this,
right.
and somebody slipped up and said, well, that's all right. When this war starts, we're going to get him. And he's like, whoa, war?
Right.
So, okay.
Right. Yep.
Ideas, wheels start turning in his head.
And that's a great point, because this is where when you hear about the ingenuity of black people, right? The brothers didn't have a smartphone. They didn't have access to even a telegraph. Everything had to be oral, pass it on. Yo, you heard this? Okay, this is what we're going to do. So he planned based upon all the intel. He gathered intel. He's a military man, minded. He gathered intel. He realized, I have to earn trust. And eventually it got to the point, let's read on. So I'm painting the picture because we're going to show what he did with the act. Then we want to get into the later part of his life, which he actually did even more. Read on.
It says Robert aimed to pay for their freedom by purchasing them outright, but the price was steep, $800, equivalent to $23,043 in 2020. He had managed to save up only $100. It might have taken him decades to reach 800.
All right, so now, the way they made it was almost impossible to buy freedom, and that's what Esau did to see. I'm a fair man. I'll let you buy your freedom. Yeah, work your whole damn life. By the time you get you're an old man. It's amazing, wicked as hell. All right, that's okay. We're going to go into the next part.
Shoot, I know people that can't save $23,000 right now. They'll get up to 5, maybe 7. Some, if they lucky, they get 10 and up. But other than that, man, expenses come. You ain't saving up no $23,000 and it's gonna go untouched until you able to use it for what you was trying to save it for.
So now what we're going into escape from slavery. We're gonna read through this. Those of you who were not on last week, Robert he's leading up to he's trying to get his freedom for his family. He loves his wife, his black wife, who he has children with, and married her even as a slave. And now he's like, listen, I can't live like this. I got to. And like Officer Matt said, he's got his ear on the dock. Damn, these white people's mad at each other. They talking about they're going to do this, that. This guy, Abe, I keep hearing this guy, Abe Lincoln, he going to free this slave. What? Okay. All right, well, I'm starting to get in good. I learned this shit. Well, man, I need to get on the ship now. If I get on the ship, what if I can learn to ride these waters? What if, and he's all thinking about all, and the proof is, it's going to tell us exactly what he did. Let's read on through that. We're going to read it kind of quick.
Escape from slavery. In April 1861, the American Civil War began.
Now, real quick, remember that April 1861. April 1861. April 1861, because we're going to find out what Robert is able to do in the next 10 years should blow your mind. By the way, at this point, he is illiterate because Esau's the damn devil, and anybody black they caught reading, they would put you to death. Okay? So this is an illiterate brother who was intelligent in so many other ways. So many other ways. Read on.
In April 1861, the American Civil War began with the Battle of Fort Sumner near Charleston Harbor. In the fall of 1861, Smalls was assigned to steer the CSS Planter.
Let's stop real quick. So how would he, remember in 1856, he started to work on the docks and doing different jobs. He used to light the city lamps. He made it to the point where now they put him on a Confederate warship. How do you go from a dockhand who's a slave until you get put as a steer? A steer is someone you help drive the whole ship. You got to prove, okay, you know what? He black, but he good. Well, you know he can't be the top. Yeah, but he can still help us, and we can take the credit. That's what they did. So he knew all of that. He's a master. This dude is a master. And the proof is he did it for his people, man. Read on.
Hey, Cap.
Yes, sir.
The CSS and CSS Planter means cargo, stowage, and securing. So
yes,
he was patrolling waters.
Yes.
That was his job. He was assigned to steer a ship and look for stowing and securing of that water area.
Right. And so he knew the terrain. In addition, later on, you're going to find out he planned the escape on the day when they picked up major munitions, and they picked up, you're going to find 20 quart of firewood because you have to produce steam to get out. This dude was, I'm telling you, don't ever let anybody make you think or feel that black people did not try to fight against their oppressors. I'm telling you, man, I thank the Lord that there were brothers like Nat Turner, that these brothers, because you got to hope that not everybody had the spirit on them. There were special brothers that the Lord put the spirit on to think under pressure. Amazing. All right, read on.
Smalls was assigned to steer the CSS Planter, a lightly armed Confederate military transport under the command of Charleston's District Commander, Brigadier General Roosevelt S. Ripley.
Okay, now,
Man.
let's skip down to where it says, see number 8, Officer McHale, it says Smalls appeared. Smalls?
Yeah, I see you. Smalls appeared content and had the confidence of the planter's crew.
Now, stop right there. How do you as a slave get the confidence of white men in authority? I'm going to show you. Hey, yeah, oh yeah, no, we fine. Don't worry about it. We good. Yes, yes, sir. Okay. You need me to do? All right, yes. Okay. Yes, oh, we love it here. Because he could play a hand.
Hey,
That's
Cap.
what a lot of you black people, you need to learn how to deal with the white men. Sometimes let him blast you. Let him talk about. Who cares?
Cap,
You gotta. Yes, sir.
You in the spirit. I was gonna say that. That's the one thing
You know,
black
you
people
see that
can't
fake
do.
smile.
That's
You know who don't have a fake smile? If you tell Gabe there ain't no more food at the buffet, he
Damn.
can't fake smile that. He like, nah, Gabe's is one of our overweight brothers back there. Been with us for a long time. Okay, I'm sorry, carry on.
But he like you saying the right thing, Cap, because that's one thing our people cannot do. Esau will smile in your face all day.
Yep.
They'll give you that face and stab you behind your back. Robert Small said, okay, might as well play him at their game. Hey, what's going on, Biff? You all right? How you doing today, sir? Sir, can I help you with your bag, sir? Oh, all right now. Let's go ahead. Do you have everything before we start sailing off, sir?
Right.
Look, you drop your pencil. Do you have another ink cartridge? You know they used to carry those little inks with them.
Yep.
Hey, I got an extra feather and an extra ink for you. You know, I saw you writing down some things. You know, I don't know what it was about. You know, us slaves can't read now, sir.
Right.
You know, so I don't know what you were saying. It must have been important. It must have been show enough important.
Hey, do me a favor real quick. I just put a video up. This is what I should have put up earlier. And our time, just do me a favor. Go to point 1 at 5:20. This is all right video. Tech team, shout out to the tech team. They screen everything before. They have strict guidelines. All praise the Lord for the structure. But I want you to go to 5 minutes and 20 seconds because it goes right along the line with how getting trust from Esau. All right, I want you. There's a visual we're going to put to this. In the meantime,
Hey, they call it stepping fetching. That's what a lot of people call it. Some people call it cooning. You know what they called it in slavery times? Surviving.
exactly.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And by him actually growing up in the house and being around that, he knew how to carry himself in that manner around Esau to where he would be unassuming.
Right. Do me a favor. And the Bible talks about that real quick. Get me harmless as a serpent, wise as a dove. Because the Bible speaks about these things. Christ understood when he was in the Roman Empire. He understood. He said, look, render unto Caesar what is to Caesar. Render unto God what is to God. So I got to pay taxes for the man that oppressed me? All right, cool. Right? Wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. Why? And that's how we got to move. Because guess what? If we can put our monies together, we can do things like create these community gardens, like create community businesses, like Bishop talked about in 2016 in the video. He talked about, my mind is already past this. My mind's on Africa. He says, my mind's on community living. Remember when he said that back in 2016, 2017?
Yep.
We have to get our minds there. So we have to be like this brother, how he thought. A wise, okay, so you might get an ass chewing at work. You going to get angry and scream at him back when he got power over you? No. You know how our forefathers as slaves used to get out of whoopings and get out because they would just plasticate. What's the word? Pacify. Pacify him. Sir, you right. Sir, master, you right. You know, master, you are right. I understand where you're coming from. Look, it's not going to happen. He just loud. Don't worry about him. We had to do that for each other. And that was, like Mikael said, that's survival. All right, survival. All right?
The book of Matthew, chapter 10 and verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves.
And that's what Robert was. Slaves, man, they were sheep in the midst of wolves. These white crewmen was horrible men. Okay? And that's why with a lot of these misguided Black Lives Matter want to remove statues. No, stupid. Leave the statues up of your oppressors so you can use them as a teaching tool and an example and a reminder. Read on.
Be ye therefore wise as serpents.
Wise as a serpent. Read on. Serpents, snakes are very calculated. Watch a snake hunt. Watch a snake hunt. Watch a video of it. Super, super calculated. That's what that means. So wise as a serpent. Read on.
And harmless as doves.
But doves are harmless. You got to be think like a snake. Be ready to strike, but at the same time, you got to be at peace while you move with that anger. That's the key, man. That's our brothers, I'm telling you, they're masters at this.
Hey, can I get a script about that?
Of course.
Cap? Get Genesis 33:10. I gotta because what you just said, Cap, and the example that Robert Smalls was setting forth is something that was always in us as a people.
The book of Genesis, chapter 33 and verse 10.
Remember, this is when Jacob went to go meet Esau. All right?
Yes.
Read.
And Jacob said, Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my presents at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face, as though I had seen the face of God,
Right.
and thou was pleased with me.
Bruh, Jacob played the role. he said, Esau, like, bruh, seeing your face is like seeing the face of God, and I'm glad that you're pleased with me. Like, just accept these gifts. Like, and Esau, like, no, I ain't gonna say no, please accept these gifts. Play the game, people. Play the game.
Hey, look, don't fall off the horse. The white man is not God, he's the devil. Disclaimer.
Right.
Yeah, but like to your point earlier, Jacob did that for survival.
Yes.
He knew that Esau wanted to kill him since Isaac died.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when Isaac died, Jacob's like, man, I gotta go see this dude. Man, I'm about to be extra nice. I'm about, do whatever I can to make sure to, like you said, Cap, pacify his anger.
And I'm gonna tell you something. A little later on, we about to touch some of y'all's spirits. You know what helps me is when I hear stories from old brothers, and they got videos still of slaves. They interview slaves and sharecroppers, and when all you gotta do is listen to them. Just sometimes you close your eyes and listen to them speak, and listen to the underlying pain. And now imagine that's you. You have to own their pain to understand. And it's something that it's not easy to do, because now you open up and you be like, well, damn, man. Like, and it's uncomfortable, but you have to go through that. You ever see, like, a lot of times when somebody will die and they got messed up bad. It could have been a car accident. But the father, like, no, I need to see the body. You know why? Because he got to go through it. Like, okay, and he got to process it, right? It's the same thing. You have to look at the wound in order for it to heal. And that's what gives us as Israelite men the power when we teach. You got to know how to open up a wound strategically to get them to see what's really going on. And that's through the curses of the Bible. But some of y'all, when y'all teach, you don't teach with passion. Some of y'all don't. Conviction. Believe it. Live the pain. And this what shows like this should instill pride in you, at the same time should make you very upset. As it should. Any person that has relatives that went through this, you should be upset. Robert Smalls was our relative. So was it Tucson Overture, Nat Turner, all of them. Okay? You got that ready, officers? Thank you, sir.
Out his escape plan on May 12, 1862. The planter moved through and beyond Charleston, picking up large guns, ammunition, and firewood. On the evening of May 12, 1862, as the planter docked near General Ripley's headquarters, its 3 white officers disembarked to spend the night ashore, as they often did.
Stop. That's what I want. The first time they had a meeting, Bob, we're not supposed to leave the ship. That's true. We can get court-martial. I understand that. Well, what do you think, man? This guy, Robert, is just, I never had a problem with this nigger. Me neither. What about you? No. What do you say? You trust, he's not like the other niggers. I trust him. He's loyal to us. The first time he had to get that trust. Then, once they knew, they came back that first night, the second night, everything was Irie. That's what Robert was going for. So then when he knew that they was going to be gone, his plan, he would be able to depend on it. rewind that real quick again. There's
He
something.
let him form a habit, Cap.
Absolutely.
He let him form a habit. Once that habit was
Comfortable.
formed, and Robert didn't tell on us. Robert
Right.
didn't say nothing. About a few months passed. I mean, you set in your ways after that.
And it also shows that, well, they're the worst soldiers because it's abandonment of duty. But it also shows that the real troopers were Robert Smalls. They were the real military men. Play that again.
1862. As the planter docked near General Ripley's headquarters, its 3 white officers disembarked to spend the night ashore, as they often did. At 3 a.m. the next day, Smalls and 7 crewmen carried out his planned escape to the Union blockade ships.
Now pause. So I also want to big up the brothers that was with him, because a lot of times what they'll do is give credit to one black person. Robert Smalls. There was actually 8 of them. One, apparently, according to different sources of all the videos and all the articles I read, they didn't trust one. He was a Judas amongst. I guess he caught it. There was 7 black men with him. Yes. All right. Okay. Yeah, Smalls and 7 crewmen carried out his escape plan on May 12th, 1862. Yeah, we need a T-shirt. Robert Smalls, The Great Escape, May 12th, 1862. Thank you. So this is important because these brothers planned together. Yes, Robert was the leader, but they planned together. And they did it at a time when they had a certain amount of supplies. So play on this. That's very short for that. Another about a minute or so.
Smalls wore the captain's uniform and a similar straw hat to the captain's. With his disguise in place, he transported the planter past the southern wharf and picked up his wife and children and the families of other crewmen.
Okay,
He
pause.
guided
Let me
the
show you how they did that in the interest of time. So this is how it went down. Y'all research it for yourself, and it'll corroborate what I'm saying. So there was a curfew that they allowed the slaves' families to come visit them on board. The caveat was they had to be back before curfew was up. Otherwise, there was a thing called the slave patrol. They used to have people that used to ride on horses looking for runaway slaves. And if you weren't in before the curfew, they would hem you up. So what the brothers did is they had their wives visit them, all of them, their whole families visit them that night, which was not too uncommon. Then after that, the brothers was slick. They act like they was bringing them home. They got past the checkpoint. They brought them to another ship in the harbor. And they stored their families in another ship that they had planned ahead of time. So when they came back, the men came back without the women. They're like, hey, well, these niggas follow protocol. They dropped them. So when it was time to break out that night with all the supplies, they went on a sneak, went over to the other ship, picked up all the other slave family, brothers and sisters, picked them up, and then they got past 5 checkpoints. This is so much planning, logistics, and know-how. It is ridiculous. And this is with a man who you Edomites call illiterate. And later on, one of the U.S. Union captains says, I never seen anybody this intelligent. He said he's more intelligent than anybody in my ranks. That's what a Union officer said about Robert Smalls, who was a young man who is so-called illiterate. It's amazing. All praise the Lord for a brother's spirit like that. Now, do me a favor. There's one other thing, and then we're going to go to break. If you go to the YouTube video, number 5, and let me just look at it. Rick Thomas did a good job of doing that. Number 5, and go to, damn. Do I want that? Damn. Say something real quick. I need to get my thought together on this right quick.
This is what slavery does. This is why integration was one of the worst things that could possibly happen to us as a people, because we let our guard down. Before we had our guard up, we was thinking of, all right, this is my enemy. He is my enemy. She is my enemy. I have to find a way for my people to get around them, to outthink them, to outmaneuver them. But now we sitting there, little white boys and little black girls can hold hands together, and now we think everything is cool. Nah, we're actually dumber now than we were back then.
So from slavery to the turbulent 60s was that young lion, and integration all the way to now
That
is
old
that
lion.
old lion.
Yep.
And the Bible says, who shall rouse them up?
Yep.
You're looking at the men that are going to do it with the Bible.
Because guess what? Matter of fact, get that in Genesis 49. Let's back that up. The first thing that we got to understand is that Robert Small's whole goal was to get to freedom. Nowadays, we don't have goals. We don't have nothing to work towards. We don't have nothing to aspire to be except for, video vixens and rap stars and, jump out the gym. If you can't rap or shoot a ball or run really fast on a football field, you ain't got no other aspirations. I knew a dude, his whole aspiration was to work at Walmart.
Damn.
Like, that was the end-all be-all for him.
Damn.
Was to work at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Read that.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up.
A lion's whelp is a young lion. If you ever watch those YouTube videos about lions and animals and stuff like that, a young lion be pouncing on everything because they practicing. They practicing on how to be vicious. They practicing on how to be, that lion that they're going to grow up to be. Read.
He stooped down. He crouched as a lion.
So he crouched as a lion, meaning he ready to attack. That's what we was doing. During slavery, we was going all through that stuff and being ready to attack, having things set up. Go ahead.
And as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
But the 60s made us an old lion.
So all praise the Lord. So look, we get ready to go to break. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to get into Robert, his Union life as a Union soldier in the Army, in the Navy, and then we're going to get into things that he did later on in life. So stay with us. You're watching Precept Upon Precept on Thursday night. All praise. So we're going to head to break. Shalom.
The Messiah is a savior and a conqueror.
Joseph, follow me.
Shalom, Israel. My name is Sister Zakaya from IUIC Cincinnati Camp, and I am here because I have a special announcement for you. It is almost that time again. Passover 2022. It is right around the corner. I am excited. I hope you are too. The dates are from March 31st through April the 4th. That's March 31st through April the 4th. So make sure you mark your calendars. This year's colors are brown and gold. And make sure you visit originalroyalty.com to get your official garments. One more thing, Israel. Registration details will be available soon. Do not neglect to register. Make haste. And remember, never give up, never give in. Shalom.
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I have an important message about your leaders in the Christian church. Your bishops, pastors, reverends, and ministers are all lying to you and leading you straight to damnation. The truth is, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the biblical Israelites, according to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Jesus Christ is a black man with white wool hair, according to Revelation chapter 1, verses 14 and 15. We as the Israelites must keep the commandments in the faith of Christ to receive salvation, as it is written in Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. I've challenged and debated Christian authorities all over the world on these issues. Not one of them has been able to negate this truth. Your pastors have led you astray, worshiping pagan holidays and false gods, just as in the days of old. So join us on our mission to restore the true nation of Israel before the decree goes forth. The work is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Visit our website at israelunite.org or call us at 855-484-4842 to learn more and visit our schools. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome back to Precept Upon Precept. We're going to jump right into it. Robert Smalls in The Great Escape. Do me a favor. Pull up article number 5, timestamp. I want 9:40. So what's going to happen is, at this point, Robert Smalls gets the understanding. He learned the ship. He got the trust of the 3 Edomite officers, the men in charge, so to speak. They planned on a day. They had it all coordinated to have them act like they were going through curfew. They had a plan to stage the families and pick them up, and everything was working out that night. They waited till like 3 in the morning, and on the ship that night, they had 20 cords of wood that they had loaded before, 4 major cannons. They had all type of 200 pounds of ammunition. They were stocked because they knew that when they crossed out of the Confederate zone, look, they wanted to give something of value to the damn Union, and that's exactly what this brother did. So, timestamp, please.
Tradition goes down that Hannah actually went to Robert and they discussed this, and Robert said, look, it's dangerous. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Why don't I just go ahead and take the planter to freedom, and then I'll come back for you.
Stop. So Robert's like talking to his wife. He's like, look, this is going to be dangerous. You know what? At the end of the day, you stay here, you be safe. Let me go risk my life and come back, right? So the black woman today, a lot of and not insisting this truth, but what's okay. But a revolutionary woman will say something like this. Play on.
Come back and get you. And she said, no, where you go, I go. Where you die, I die. And they made the pact to go at this together.
Hey, Cap.
Hey.
There's some power. Spin chills up your back, bro.
You want to know why she was like that? Because she had a husband.
That's right.
That's right.
She had a husband. A wife will always follow her husband, especially if that husband is showing that he has the best interest of his family in mind. That's the goal that we as husbands should be gearing towards.
That's right.
So when she says, no, I'm not going to stay back. Wherever you go, that's where I'm going to go. That's the same thing as saying blood of my blood,
right.
Flesh of my flesh. That's it. We gonna be in this thing together. That's a rib.
Hey, real quick, that's the spirit. Get me that, Officer Miguel, a helpmate like unto him. Because what you're going to find a little later on is that she really saved all of their lives, that sister. It's something that she did. God made Eve for Adam to be a helpmate in his stay, to help him. The woman's job on earth is to help the man of God. That's her job. You were put in here to be able to help take a seed, to produce seed for that man, and to do what? To help that man, to complement that man. That's what woman is of man. So this sister, who was a sister, a revolutionary sister, said, you know what? We might die, but I'm going to die because I know my husband believes in freedom. Do you know he was away for a while working, and he kept saying, saving. He says, look, sweetheart, I'm trying to buy his freedom, and we're going to be 50, 60 years old. This is the only way. Trust me. And at the end, he gave her an out. Look, this is going to be too dangerous for you. She's like, nope. She said, I am created for you. What you do, I do. Watch it in the scriptures. It's a couple different places. We can do Peter too, if you want. It just came to me. Help me in a stay. So anyways, I'm just going to paraphrase the scripture. Remember, it said a help and a stay, right?
I got you, Ken.
Go ahead.
Sirach chapter 36 and verse 24.
Check this out.
He had getteth a wife, beginneth a possession.
This is an excellent one. He that getteth a wife, getting a possession. And in this particular tone, Robert was literally trying to buy his wife, who was unfortunately a possession to the devil, freedom. So he knew he was responsible to take care of her well-being. Read on.
A help like unto himself.
And that's what this sister was. She was a help like unto Robert. No, if we're going to die, I'm going to die right along your side, following you. And that's some heavy stuff. So what she ends up doing later on, she did it out of her own wanting to help her husband. So play on, please. Let this play just a little bit longer. That's good too. Yes, sir.
Back to go at this together.
I used to pay $160.
Hey,
all right. Yes, go ahead, Mikhail.
You know how they used to have them commercials, this moment in Black history? They need to do that for her. Mm-hmm. This moment in Black history, she was, I heard one of the brothers say it, she was the first ride or die sister. You know what I'm saying? Because, and I don't know if she was the first. I'm not going to say she was the first, but that was a ride or die moment. She actually said, no, we in this together. I got your back. If you going to do it, we going to do it. It ain't no, I'm going to stay here. Stay here for what?
Yeah, like Cap said, that's a revolutionary-minded woman.
Right.
That's the mind that we all need to, that's the mind that we're all going to be pushed to have in a minute. When Esau starts turning his heat up, you know, what's going to happen when brothers is out on the street and they get arrested and they start threatening the sisters at home? Yeah, where's your husband at? Where is he at? We know he out here somewhere. What you going to do then? When they asking, not knocking down your door because your husband is out there preaching the Bible.
And that's why we have to have a good rapport in him and without. That's why whenever you can, you got to use a little bit of that charm with your neighbor. You might have an Edomite neighbor. You ain't got to go go out to pizza with the dude, but be respectful, okay? Have some sort of, so when they come and try to, no, he never bothered me. I see him with his wife and his kids, and they will vouch for, and the regular so-called blacks out there, the neighbors coming over, friends coming over, smoking weed, 5 cars in the parking lot. Oh, they sell drugs. I was over at this dude's house the other day on the air conditioner, and yup, they sell drugs right over there. And that's every neighborhood. But you're not going to find that name once amongst the Israelites. Not at IUIC, nope. That's a family man. He's a little quiet, but that's a family. I see him take care of his wife. I don't see no other cars coming in there. I don't see no loud music. We need to have a good rapport with both them within the body and without. Your jobs as well. Plates, you got the second timestamp? Yeah, no, you're right. Go ahead.
The secret meeting with the other enslaved crew members. They agreed to join and help him. They wanted to free their families too.
That's exactly what I wanted. Because what white folks do is, Robert Smalls did everything. Robert Smalls was the leader. But they had other brothers other enslaved black men who also hated oppression, that Robert could have never done it without them. And they loved their wives and children as well. So it was not just one man, although he had the plan and the Lord used him. It was other black men who were also men of valor. And they were all, matter of fact, what they ended up doing, in interest of time, they knew that, and at the time that's what they did, they knew that if they got caught, they would have been strung up and tortured. So the whole ship, the bow, they laid with dynamite, and they were gonna go out blazing. If they was go back, they were about to go blazing.
So you mean to say that Robert Smalls was the leader and none of the other black men wanted to take his position? They followed the leader?
Right.
Yeah.
They actually were disciplined enough to say, what do you say we're going to do, Robert? Okay, this is what we're going to do. What's my job? Okay, this is the role I need to play.
Yep.
I'm going to do that. And that's why it was a success. Robert said, all right, I got all of the expertise in this.
Yep.
I'm going to show y'all how to do it. Look, this is what you're going to do. If we're going to really do this, look, put dynamite all around the ship. Something happened, we blowing it up.
Hey,
Other than that, this is how it's going to go, and it's only going to go that way if we work together.
That's right.
this is the spirit they have. 1 Corinthians 1:10. This is
right.
this is what made this possible for them to be able to be like, okay, you're going to be the leader and we're going to follow you. Read that.
1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that ye all speak the same thing.
That you all do what?
Speak the same thing.
No, why Robert got to be the leader? I want to be the leader.
That ye all speak the same thing.
Read.
And that there be no divisions among you.
No. Let two of us want to do our own thing over here on the side. And Robert, you and the other five, y'all go do what y'all want to do.
And that there be no divisions among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment.
In the same mind and the same judgment, meaning we going to follow this plan to a T. If anything go wrong, we blowing the boat up and we all going to die together. Or we all going to make it to freedom together.
And you know what's heavy? Because if you watch this video, and the other thing I want to share with all y'all, anytime you plan something, right? Whether it be, let's say you're planning for show, you have to get immersed in it. I've been immersed in this brother for days, immersed, video after video, article after article being consumed. I have to get a feel for it. You can't just go and read an article. So in the interest of time, what you're going to find is throughout the time, they in some of their memoirs, they would write Robert the whole time. The other brothers are writing about him. If he had any fear or anything, we never saw it, because they all saw something special in Robert that made them want to follow him. He couldn't be a damn nigga out there like you. No, he knew how to talk. There might have been a brother be scared. Listen, brother, I understand you're scared. You want to live the rest of your life as a damn slave? Well, listen, pull up let's go. Cut the BS. We gotta escape. Another brother, he knew was very strong. Yo, listen, we got this, right? Listen, go cheer him up. He knew all the spirits of the men. That's why as you men get up in rank, you got to know your men. Some men you could talk to, just tell them a little something. Some men you got to spoon feed them, right? You got to know your men. Robert understood the spirits of the men around him. That's the only way you can make 1 Corinthians work. You have to know your men. You have to know what to say to them. And then they'll follow you. Okay? Play on, please.
Everything was planned out very carefully. On May 12th, 1862, the crew of the planter had just finished a long stint, a very demanding work. Robert Small suspected that the white officers would be eager to leave the ship for the night. And as afternoon turned into evening, it appeared he was right. The Confederate captain, first mate, and engineer all left the ship. As things were falling into place, two of the deckhands decided the risk was too high.
Stop. So what happened is two of them, and different sources say 1, 2, they got cold feet. Now, here's the point. The whole, logistically, they just picked up a major restocking. So these white officers are like, man, we had a hard day. And even though they didn't do any of the damn work, the brothers did all the work. But they're like, we did our job. We did a successful mission. Let's go celebrate. We deserve it. So Robert's like, all right, they never going to suspect this. Because them brothers is the one that put, do me a favor, Google a cord of wood. There were 200 cords of wood that they uploaded. 200 pounds of ammunition and 4 big giant cannons. That's what they picked up. A cord of wood is any who knows anything about burning wood, cord of wood is a substantial amount of wood. Okay? Can we get any type of just on a cord? Yes, cord of wood. cord of wood. I could just Google it.
It's amazing that he had all of that planned out.
Yeah,
and Cap, he was illiterate, so that means he didn't write none of this down.
Exactly.
He remembered all the things that needed to be done. He thought it out strategically and executed it perfectly. I mean, without it, we wouldn't be sitting here reading about Robert Smalls. He obviously executed this thing perfectly.
So let's think about the picture. They just had the Confederate ship had a successful resupply where they got 200 cord of wood. Because remember, you need wood to create steam. You need fire. And they burned a whole hell. It was a big damn ship. So a cord of wood is, I think it's like 4 by 4 by 8. 120. If you look, there's a cord. Look to the right where it says cord of firewood. It's a 4 by 4 by 8. That is a cord. That's a substantial amount of wood. Multiply that by 200.
Wait,
okay.
So that's one cord?
That's one cord.
One cord of wood is 4 feet wide and 8 feet tall.
Yes. Well, I grew up in the North, and there would be years that we might go through 4 cord of wood for the house for the whole year. That was a cold winter. They got 200 cord of wood. So the brothers were physically tired. The white men didn't load that.
Right.
Black brothers did. Loaded up the wood, the big heavy guns, right? And there was no like from Mattel with plastic in it. The big damn cannons and the munitions. They loaded up. The white man, they're going to be happy with us, so let's go and get drunk and get some whores. They go on that. Rob here, he had already earned their trust. He's the perfect storm. Started to plan the curfew, the slave. I'm going to hide my families in another boat. It's the perfect storm, all right? And this to show you that Robert planned it on the perfect day. The perfect day. And he earned the trust of his enemies.
Hey, real quick, I misspoke. It's a cord of wood is 4 feet high, 8 feet long, and 4 feet wide.
That's what you said.
I thought I said something.
No, you said 4 by 8. You was on point. He's on point. I think you might have just, but 4 by 8 by 4. It basically is a rectangle. All right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Next timestamp. Watch this. So these brothers were tired. They won the trust. They had a plan, and now they're about to escape. We're gonna have to do a third part on Robert Small, and this brother deserves a month on him alone. Yes.
And here is this one of the largest boats in the harbor.
Did you know?
You know how Esau do. They gotta.
Y'all just remember the picture. So he tried to buy his wife's freedom, his family's freedom, way too much. One of the mandatory manumissions protocol. He realized he learned the docks, he learned the seas. He realized if I can get on here, he kept his word on the ear to the street. Understood there was tensions between the North and South, between other Edomites. He saw the opportunity. Oh, they're gonna maybe free the slaves. Well, if I get this, learn this, if I bring them this warship, they'll give me freedom. And that's exactly what happened. So, you got it?
Confederate flag sailing toward the USS Onward to the federal blockade.
Okay. Real quick, we got 10 minutes. So real quick, pause real quick. So at this point, they got out of the harbor. They had to go by five heavily guarded garrisons. There were all black men on this ship and their families. Robert put on the captain's garment because why? He studied their mannerism, studied their gait, studied and they had codes with whistling and different signals that they did. He mastered all of them. And he got by every single checkpoint. The last checkpoint was the most powerful, called Fort Sumter. That's where the Civil War actually began. Once he got there, the rest was to the open ocean to get to the Union barricade or blockade. Because guess what the North did? They wanted to stop the South from selling slaves and cotton and industry to Europe. So they set that blockade up. So the North was already moved. They were encroaching. They were about to take over. So Robert, he figured all that out. Now, this is where the revolutionary sister go. You sisters, right? Check this out. So what Robert didn't plan is one thing. So he gets, because remember, he had to put the Confederate flag up when he was going through there, right? Because they had lighthouses. So he's sailing after the last checkpoint with his brothers, thinking it's a Confederate warship full steam ahead, which have weapons, cannons, and all that. Guess what that sister did? Play on.
And so obviously that could have created quite a problem, but luckily Robert's wife Hannah, my great-great-grandmother, had thought to sew together some white sheets, and so they quickly lowered the Confederate flag, raised the white flag.
Rewind it 15 seconds ago. Remember, this is the mindset of a revolutionary woman. And the reason why is because she had to choose. Do I want to live on my back or die on my feet? And the sister, Robert forgot about this, and it could have killed him, the whole crew and their families. The sister said, nah, my husband's going. I got to think of everything that could help him. You know, well, I can't fight, but you know what? And she thought about it. Well, damn, when we get up there, we need to wave a white flag of surrender. But it's going to be the dawn because they were coming out daybreak, right? So she sewed together big white bed sheets together and thought to do that without her husband telling her to do nothing. It was that act, that last act that Robert forgot. Robert said, oh, shoot. And his wife said, don't worry, I got you. Bam. That is having a helpmate like unto yourself. So you sisters can learn from that. It ain't a lot of times you come in this truth, you think it's all about, you got to learn to shut up. 100%. Matter of fact, your new favorite food should be a shut-up salad. Or a shut-up sandwich. Either one with light bread. But anyways, the bottom line is this. Right, Gabe? Gabe eats 5 times a day anyway. Gabe, he's been with us for like about 8-9 years. Anyway, look like a swollen panda bear. But now look, here's the deal. Play it again.
Process onward to the federal blockade, and so obviously that could have created quite a problem. But luckily, Robert's wife Hannah, my great-great-grandmother, had thought to sew together some white sheets, and so they quickly lowered the Confederate flag, raised the white flag of surrender as they approached the USS Onward. And as they approached the Onward, as the stories go, the Union, the military folks who were manning the Onward there were just in amazement as, this large boat comes with this crew of, of black people. The general conception of what black people could do was extraordinarily limited. Let's remember that a narrative had to be created for this country to do the things that it did to enslave people.
And that narrative was that we're inferior, that we're not as intelligent, that we're just emotionless or overly emotional. And that's what they had. Robert Smalls, and they knew he was illiterate after, because he was a slave. He changed the heart of the way the U.S. military moved. He was able to, later on, next show, we're going to come to it, he was actually able to persuade Abraham Lincoln and his Secretary of State, or the Secretary of Defense, I forget which one it was, in the first wave of 5,000 enlisted black troops came into the Civil War because of what he did. Because he didn't get scared. He said, you know what? I am going to stand up against the white man's injustice. And that's the spirit that our forefathers had. And there were many of our forefathers who had the same spirit. But if you let Esau tell it, he'll give you 3, 4, 5. Harriet Tubman, Marcus Garvey. Okay, great. Great. We all know about that. And not to minimize it, right? But This guy and the brothers with him, the men with him are to be commended as well. All right? Yes. So, Robert Smalls, this brother was a powerful, powerful brother who had a revolutionary woman who, with the one point that he did not think logistically is bringing down the Confederate flag. And what do you do then? The wife had a mind at what's my husband's mission? And let me support his mission. His mission is my mission. My job as a wife is to help my husband's mission. And guess what? Slavery and oppression, that's all they had. Today, I'm telling you, if you are a sister in this truth, you better thank the Most High He woke you up, because you got a chance to work on your big mouth. These other sisters in the world, they are
doomed.
They are doomed. I'm telling you, we deal with them on the street. You deal with them at your job. They are the epitome of slavery. The epitome of slavery is the modern day black woman. Now, I don't give a damn if she's ghetto fabulous, or in a three-piece businesswoman suit thinking she's independent. It don't matter, okay? If you don't got this truth and you don't want to submit to a man of God, whether it be your father or strong men in your congregation if you're single, or your husband, you are lost. And you must take on a male identity to survive in this society. That's why you got waiting to exhales all over the damn place. And all these other black independent women movies. Damn Catwomen and all this stuff, right? Storm. What's the new superhero lady with
Captain Marvel?
No, there's a... Yeah, but she's white. What's the black woman's it'll come to me. Anyways, third timestamp.
And others live there. And after the Civil War, the wife of his former master came to the house. She was both busy.
This part was happy. So later on, and we're going to get to it next week, what happened? Robert, he got reward money from turning the ship over. So guess what Robert did? This is a move of a brother. This is a power move. This is some kingdom move right here. He said, all right, I remember all them years I was in the dock, and you want to try to make me buy my freedom, and I had to send all my money back to you? He went back because the slave master now didn't pay his taxes, so he lost his house. Robert went back and bought his slave master's house. And then the white man came back and tried to take him to court. By that time, Robert already learned how to read, and he became a state senator 4 years later after that. And he beat him in court and got to keep his slave master's house. It's a beautiful. If I learned that when I was a kid, man, I would have. Black boys are supposed to write raps about Robert Smalls. This is the type of heroism that every black boy should be talking. Man, I want to be like Robert Smalls when I get older. The hell with that. I want to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar shoots a bat. I want to be known for fighting against my oppressors, raising up. Then he went on and he created a black school in Beaufort, South Carolina. He actually created the first horse-drawn railroad system with everybody on the board of directors was black except for one Edomite that they allowed for some reason. Robert did so many things for black people in a time called Reconstruction. And I'm telling you, this brother is just
Hey, Cap, didn't
amazing.
he give the slave master like a few dollars too after he bought the house? Like
no, Rob got simp. You know what he did? I'm going to tell you what Robert, this is the thing, this is the part I didn't want you to. So what he did is he felt sorry for the white woman and allowed her ass to go live in the house in the back room. Because he felt bad for her. Because he was simping on that one.
Damn.
He's like Gabe after like the third day of a diet. I mean, Joaz, I'm sorry. Joaz is doing good.
I hope Netflix puts that in the movie. Not the part about him letting the white woman stay in the house.
Right, exactly.
But the part of him actually buying back the plantation. Yeah. I hope Netflix puts that in the movie.
You know how powerful that is for a black man to purchase the house that he was a slave at in his lifetime. He was a war hero. But that same war hero, when he went to Philadelphia in 1864, was told, get your black ass up to the back of the damn trolley. Who the hell is you, nigger? You don't ride in the front with us. That's how they used to talk to you. Nigger, get back there. And then all of them together would, get back there, you nigger. They used to talk like that. Yep. Robert said, I'm a damn war hero. I didn't damn help to save your... And he made a big deal. And he staged the first boycott of public transportation, or maybe the second in the United States, because of his heart. The heart he had to steal a slave ship is the heart that he did when he fought in Senate, when he fought. He had to go to jail over some stuff. And the people that he ran against were people that tried to keep the narrative of black people were considered inferior. Like they would push that on in public policy. Robert fought against that at the Senate and the House of Representative level. He fought against the racist demons publicly in the political forums, and he was powerful, the same way he had that spirit when he stole the damn ship and escaped.
All right? That's why it's important for us as black people. It's okay. It's cool to be smart. Right. Okay? It's cool to be smart. We make looking dumb look cool. It's not all right. That's not trendy. It's not okay to act dumb and then it's a cool thing. You can be smart and be cool. It's okay. You can let your intelligence show. It's all right. This ain't the old days. It's cool to be smart now.
Real quick, I want to invoke some pain real quick. Do me a favor. There's a video that I put up. It is, and if I don't have it, yes, I put the video up. I want everybody to feel this. I watched it earlier. And, yeah, I want all y'all. Nope. It's the one. Damn, maybe I didn't put it up. No, the one with the Confederate damn flag. He risked his life for and I want you to start at 4 minutes and 26 seconds. It says he risked his life for filming a Mississippi senator's plantation. So basically, what happens is there was a Mississippi senator. This is in the 60s, the mid to early 60s, 1964, before the Civil Rights Bill passed. This is a senator who had a plantation. A senator, the same white men you think that you vote for love you. This guy had a plantation. And we're going to listen to some of the people. There's a couple of so-called freedom riders who, they the devil too, but they went down and they actually got on film the stories of some of the sharecroppers on this senator's plantation. And you're going to see the sister, and it's amazing when I look at them. When I look at these black folks here, the amount of dignity that they still possessed in the midst of being on by our oppressors. Start 426, please. Yes, sir.
Nobody poor, not in this county. Because the people on Senator Eastland's plantation is just as poor as I am.
So real quick, pause. This is Fannie Lou Heyman, and she was a spokeswoman. She was very, very poor. She understood struggle. So she's speaking, saying, look, these sisters and brothers over here on this plantation is poor like me. And that's a famous sister. She was going on to be famous later on. But now we're going to play on. I want you to listen. This is only 50, 60 years ago. Our people in the 60s were being oppressed fiercely, let alone, so if this is 1960, what you think Robert Smalls was going through in 1860 and 1870? As a matter of fact, during Reconstruction, I would argue to say black people were in more of a position of power than they were in the 1950s in some regards, in some political regards. Play on.
And he hadn't done anything for them. And he hadn't done anything for nobody else that's poor in Sunflower County. And I've been right here in Sunflower County since I was 2 years old.
Within sight of the busy cotton gin she is supplied with her labor in these fields, Mrs. Irene Taylor lives with her family of 9. Hers is one of the few remaining tenant shacks that grace the senator's plantation.
Now pause real quick. So this is a black woman who has a family of 9. So let's assume it's her husband. I don't even know if there's a husband. Her husband's there, and she has at least 7 children. They live in a small 200 square foot or less cabin on a U.S. senator's plantation. And now we're going to look at her, listen to her words, listen to her voice, watch how she walks, and we're going to listen now.
Well, I think he mighty nice about that because he told me to stay there as long as I want to stay in that house. I'm in. He said, as long as I live, as long as I want to stay in the house, I could stay there. And any kind of help that he said that if I need amongst my children kind of sickness, he'll help me sometimes.
Some of Senator Eastland's tenants left the plantation to talk with reporter Nick Kotz. They came to talk about hunger, but water and electricity and the minimum necessities kept creeping into the conversation. In the society of indebtedness, the food bill...
Pause. Let me tell you something real quick. When you look at her, right? Look at her face. You see how when she walked in, everything is just so. She poor as hell, being oppressed, still, dress, cover up, walk, respect. She wear her oppression. She wear it well. Rewind a little bit.
Came to talk about hunger, but water and electricity and the minimum necessities kept creeping into the conversation. In the society of indebtedness, the food bill is the last bill.
You know, you have to pay tax on that money, what you borrow. You know, any money you borrow is 2 bits on a dollar. You know that.
No, go over that. In other words, when you borrow money from Senator Eastland, you've got to pay an interest?
Yeah, I had to pay interest on it.
Tell us about that. Go all the way through and tell us how that works.
Yeah, see, when I borrow it, just like I borrowed $30, well, I'm got to pay 2 bits on
Pause
it.
real quick. You think that she want to be missing her bottom teeth? She got no way to take care of her teeth. These devils had your people in great affliction. This is in the 1960s. She got kids, she can't feed her kids, and this is a U.S. senator, and you think the white man loves you? You're crazy. Play.
One of them dollars I borrowed from him.
So they're not getting anything free.
Let me just take a step back. Just imagine, as a kid, you got to look at your moms in the mouth. And you say, Mommy, you know, why are you missing your bottom teeth, Mama? And she got to say, because Mama can't afford to get her teeth right. Mama can't go to a dentist. Imagine the conversations that take place. And you as a kid growing up, as a boy, wanting to protect your mother, knowing you can't do nothing about it because you hungry as hell. And this is in the 60s, and a lot of our people live like that. So what the hell do you think they were living like 100 years before that? And this is why Christianity has such a stronghold on our people. Because you dumb, stupid black people out there who actually will side with your enemy and think that things have changed 60 years later. You are sadly mistaken. And you need to watch stuff like this. You need to watch, and you need to feel what. I see little things. Play on.
They might have to pay that double instead of just paying maybe 10% on the dollar. So they're not giving them anything.
The elderly are at the bottom of the poverty class. Mr. Edwards here shares quarters with 2 people who are not even related to him. Medical expenses consume their meager incomes. For the old, food stamps are a distant dream.
Food stamps, all right, if he's able to buy them. Of course, they say we'd have to pay $28, and they give us $22, which would make $50.
tell us about what your family is going to eat until you get more.
Well, they'll eat some turnip greens and some cornbread. All I know, 'cause I don't have anything else. And I don't have no money to buy nothing with. I don't have no job. I have been trying to get one, but I can't. And the boy,
and when our people used to say, I can't get a job, because at that point in that time, you show up, there's no application where you might or talk on the phone and sound white. Back then, you went to a job, nope, we don't hire niggers over here. Get it going. They would talk to you like that. So when she says she can't get a job, she couldn't get a damn job. And these are the things that you're supposed to take, and you're supposed to actually hold on to these things and remember these things and use them to raise your family up, your people up, and work together. Now we have much more liberty now. Much more liberty. Even the people that live in the projects now, I've been in project apartments, pissy hallways, rough as hell, go inside, flat screen TVs, nice couches and all that. So people, trust me, people get ways to get by. Not back then, they didn't have that. They ate what they could grow. And this is not uncommon. This was very, very common. It's just that Esau risked his life, which he actually did. The other white man would have killed their own white men that was published. That was never supposed to be shown on TV. They were never supposed to be made a die. They had to sneak, and the white dudes came in and under disguise, and to get them to come off. They didn't film that on the plinth. They had to get them to come somewhere else to talk about it. So this happened in damn near some of the brothers in our congregation lifetime. That happened 12 years before I was born. And this is why it just, what it does is it lets us know that the Bible is 100% a true book. And if anything, feel sorry for brothers who you show them this truth and they don't get it. Like Deacon Malachi brought it last. If our gospel be hid, it to be hid to them that are lost. So all praise the Lord. So look, next week, I got off a little side tangent at the end, but next week we're going to finish up with Robert Small's education, business, and political life in part 3 of Robert Smalls. So we're going to do the third part of Robert Smalls. Y'all check this brother out. And also during so-called Black History Month, don't just accept the narrative of I Have a Dream, of Marcus Garvey, which he's a powerful brother, and Malcolm X. Yes, though, they're important. What about all the other, which is much, much more like Robert Smalls? Don't just accept the narrative that they allow you to learn. So with that, we're going to go to our plug a couple of things, and we get ready to ride out. Y'all, thank you for staying with us tonight. All praise to the Lord.
Hey, look, Israel, if y'all want to continue to see shows like this, give alms. Y'all can give alms to IUIC New Orleans for precept upon precept at iuic.neworleans at israelunite.org via PayPal. If y'all want to give alms to your local school, you can do so by dropping it in the alms box at your local school location. Give to the Booster Club. Y'all can give to the Booster Club at iuic.fundraising at israelunite.org. Let's continue to push this truth throughout the 4 corners of the earth, y'all.
I'm sorry, that video had me mad as hell. Israel United in Christ, we are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1.
All praise to the Lord. And so when you see stuff like this, just remember this, that anger needs to be put in a box for later, meaning you got to hang on to that. And this is how you calm and quell that spirit. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Isaiah 14, verse 2. And he shall rule over his oppressors. Isaiah 14, verse 21. And it talks about prepare slaughter for their children, for the iniquities of their fathers. The Bible is a true book. justice and redemption shall reign in the earth. And we just got to hold the line, stay the course, take care of our wives, take care of our children, keep these commandments, build one another up, keep each other. Officer Matt said something in the video that we just put out on New Orleans page. He said, look, he says, we're all sponsors to each other in this truth. You battle with lust, your brother's supposed to have your back. You battle with anger, he's supposed to have your back. You battle with a spirit of smoke and sick, he's supposed to have your back. We have to do that with each other so we can get the kingdom. So with that, all praise to the Most High. Join us next week to part 3 of Robert Smalls. All praises to the Most High. Esau's the damn devil the Bible speaks of. That verified tonight. And y'all need to go and watch some of these old sharecroppers. I watch them and I just imagine, and sometimes they'll try to talk plain the whole time, and then they have a memory of something like one of their sisters of their daddies or something, and then they lose it because they had to get through it. They had to get through it somehow. The people go to war and they see dead bodies and all that. It's PSD. Our people by default have post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, so with that, all praise the Lord. We are your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
And with that, brothers and sisters, we say shalom.
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 You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line, the word make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. Putting in the work for the Most High. Valley of the bones coming back and we gon' ride. Showing you our past didn't start with that boat ride. We a nation made of kings, yeah, we chose right. Bringing our identity back. We the praise of the Lord, they pretend to be that. Judah is something special, they can never be that. We raise the vengeance with the knowledge so our enemies crack. In fact, listen to the class and the topic. Bomb subject matter, breakdowns atomic. Gathering the people, the whole duty of prophets.